Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Los Angeles. Today we are joined by the chair of the Board of Supervisors of LA County. His name is Mark Ridley-Thomas. Sir, I heard the press conference. You were at it after the homeless count was announced for 2017. I could hear in your voice the devastation when you learned that there was a 23% spike in homelessness year to year. We're now approaching 58,000 homeless in our county. It's not for lack of trying. I mean, I know you and all your colleagues are working hard, but what's going on out there?
Well, I think for too long, we simply underestimated how profoundly challenging circumstances are for many Angelenos. It's not unique to Los Angeles, it's not unique to the state of California, but we are the epicenter of homelessness in the nation.
And that's new. It used to be New York or Miami. It's not anymore. It's us.
LA has just... And we should dispel the myth immediately that these are those who come from other parts of the country to find more favorable weather conditions. Not the case. Upwards of 75% of those who are homeless in Los Angeles are either native to Los Angeles or have been here at least 20 plus years.
What I understand is, while many homeless may be facing mental health challenges, there are also a significant number that simply cannot afford the rent. Well, it's that simple.
It is a complex picture, but anyone who wishes to understand the homelessness crisis has to understand income inequality and the cost of living in this region. Just as we all know that the real estate market is literally on fire, that's not good news to everyone.
Right.
Rents are very, very high, dauntingly so, discouragingly so, and you see people falling out as a result of it, particularly women who are disproportionately, get this, disproportionately turned out of their units. In other words, they are the first in many instances to be the victims of a loss of shelter. Eviction rates among women are disproportionately high, and so the increase in the number of homeless persons in the county of Los Angeles is 1 out of 3 such persons are women, female.
I know, sir, that you and your colleagues are working to try to use the resources provided to you by the voters to tackle this crisis. We had Measure HHH and Measure H, one dealing with permanent housing, one dealing with funding for services. Recently, the county indicated it's going to spend a significant amount of money on rental subsidies, services to support those placed in permanent housing, outreach, strengthening, expanding shelter. How quickly can this happen, sir?
We began July 1.
Okay, so quickly.
That quickly. Be mindful of the fact that it was in March, March 7th to be precise, that the people of the county of Los Angeles gave a green light to Measure H. 7 out of 10 voters said, yes, we want this. It's just absolutely phenomenal. First time a revenue measure since 1902 on a March ballot in the county of Los Angeles. Oh, it's just amazing how intensely the people of this county feel about this issue. And so from March to July, we have been working on, it's unprecedented in terms of the speed with which we're very deliberate about this. The speed with which we are prepared to move. So $250 million will be in motion rather immediately. And then more begins to move by October. And so for the first 3 years, we will move to approximately $1 billion in the areas that you had defined, largely social services, dealing with mental health, dealing with outreach teams that include a public health nurse, a social worker, someone with lived experience, and then someone who's a substance abuse or substance use counselor, as well as someone from the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority who will wrap it all together. And these are teams, 25 of which will be moved throughout the county of Los Angeles, primarily to those homeless encampments that decreased by 12 to 15%. Now, this is potentially the game changer. So there's a lot of innovation that's targeting the populations that have been, up to this point, not benefiting from the intensity of the work that's required to make progress in dealing with homelessness.
Some of these folks that are homeless may face drug addiction.
Yes.
And we now have a drug that is legal, and that is cannabis, 100% legal. And LA City, LA County, every jurisdiction needs to look at how it's going to manage legal marijuana. What is happening on the county front that you can report?
A lot is happening in that regard. So in order for us to make sure that we don't make some of the mistakes that were made, for example, in Colorado, we have determined that we need to apply brakes. So come January of 2018, we just don't go full blast into decriminalization, or more to the point, legalization. What we do is have a regulatory scheme that has to be implemented for the purpose of protecting the quality of life of all concerned. There are public safety concerns, obviously. There are public health concerns, and there are land use concerns.
And we have a lot of land use authority, we meaning jurisdictions. The California Supreme Court said that in the Riverside case.
That's correct, and it can be screwed up unless we are thoughtful. So we implemented what amounts to a ban so that people can't just start running forward. This is not going to be the wild, wild west. And so we will lift that once we have the regulations in place.
When you say regulations, meaning the state regulations that are being drafted, or county regulations?
County.
County, okay.
There's local jurisdiction
I understand.
here, and it distinguishes itself from cities.
Right.
So you have layers and layers of regulation. In addition to that, Brad, you have potential layers and layers of taxation.
Right.
And to the extent that that is the case,
Yes.
There's a very strong chance that the product will be driven underground because of the cost.
High taxation. I
No
mean, look,
question about
under
it.
Prop 64, there's the excise tax, the cultivation tax on
That's right.
flowers and leaves,
Right.
sales tax, and then cities and counties can
Right.
place taxes on it.
That's exactly
And we
right.
know that I think the city already has, and the county may.
The city came forward with Measure M
Right.
at the city level just this past round.
Right.
And the county has yet to make that determination. Right now, it's a cash-based industry because there are no provisions to accommodate deposits
Banking.
because of the federal
Okay.
determinations about this.
I want to thank you so much for joining us. His name is Mark Ridley-Thomas, Chair of the Board of Supervisors in LA County, where we are today. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's Local Edition.